Hello, my name is Emma. If this is your first time here, I really hope this isn't your first time here. I actually really hope this is not your first time here for my sake, because today I'm going to be time traveling, going back through the folds of history and looking at one of my first ever YouTube videos, one of my first ever booktube videos, which is a book haul. And number one, we're just gonna be looking at it because this video is private. A lot of my old booktube videos are private. You have uber amounts of you existing on the internet, and when you go back in time, you're like, you know what? I don't want anyone ever to see that again. I don't want my FBI agent to see it again, although he definitely is looking at it, laughing his ass off. So that is why a lot of my older YouTube videos are private, because I don't want you to see them. I'm sorry. I do have some videos from my older booktube days, but most of them are gone. And then secondly, we're gonna see if I actually read all of these books or any of these books from this book haul years ago. So we're just gonna go for it. I have to scroll way back in my channel history. It's getting frightening now. It is getting frightening. I uploaded my first ever YouTube video to this channel on June 6th, 2018. But it wasn't booktube. They were just like little artsy vlogs of videos. Like, my first video is literally called Tiny Moments. I don't want to show you it because it's very personal, but it was just detailing little moments. The description says small memories with tea and sunsets, and it's only 5 minutes long. But then I discovered booktube and I uploaded oh no, here it is. I uploaded my first ever booktube video on January 8th, 2019. It took me a little while to find the booktube community after I joined YouTube, but once I did, I was there. I stuck to that like honey. I don't want to do this. This sweet summer child, she has no idea any of the things that are coming her way. This was right when I had started my second semester of my second year of uni. Pre-concussion times, pre-pandemic times. She was probably high on life, having a really good time, and this was my book haul. A lot of this, I think, were the books that I got for Christmas, so we're just gonna open it up. I hope that if anyone out there is looking for motivation or guidance or inspiration or just some drive to start a YouTube channel or to start a booktube channel, I have so many of you asking questions all of the time, or like, how do I get over my fear of myself? Here you go. This is for you. What am I expecting from this video? I don't know. I'm expecting a girl who doesn't know how to talk to a camera yet. It just kind of becomes more natural and you kind of get a little bit used to it as you go on, but I also feel a lot of fondness already for this poor girl I can see in the thumbnail. The description of the video is just a small video about books I have recently acquired into a massive collection, as the 1,000 other books I own that I haven't yet read stare angrily at me from the corner. Okay, well, I've gotten a lot better at sentence structure, but that's still pretty accurate. Okay, let's open this up. Practicing kindness towards ourselves today. Okay, here we go. Oh my gosh, it's snowing so much outside. First of all, the intro is great. I love the little intro. Why did I get rid of that? It's 1 Point Perspective by the Arctic Monkeys. Who is this? Wow, what am I seeing? Okay, so this is at my first apartment. I no longer have like any of the things in this frame. That couch is gone, that shirt's gone, that pillow's gone, that world map is gone. We've upgraded the world map. Okay, first of all, I love that the first words out of my mouth were, it's snowing so much outside. Has anything really changed? I'm also blonde, question mark. I think this was at the point where the last of the hair dye that I let my friends put in my hair that was supposed to be like white blonde was starting to come out. So that is not my natural hair color. I think that's when the last of the dye is coming out. Anyway, I'm seeing a huge stack of books. Oh no, this might be so, what if I haven't read any of these? Let's hear it. She's not looking at the camera. No points for eye contact. I'm here with a massively large, precariously piled stack of books beside me. These are books that I've gotten in the past few weeks, month. If I couldn't string together a sentence in a coherent manner, why would I not just cut it together so it sounded a little bit coherent? These are a stack of books that I've acquired over the last few weeks or so. Some of them were definitely for school, some of them were just for me. Some of them I have read and some of them I have not. So I just thought I would go through them. Today is January, a new semester has started. I'm so excited for my classes today. It's my first day of classes. It's about like 8:30 right now, so I just thought I'd go quickly through and reminisce about last semester. So the first book. Girl, why does my voice sound like that? I think I was so nervous. I was so nervous to be filming, especially starting like actually making videos in a community where I knew people were gonna probably stumble upon them, and also like inserting yourself into a new community for the first time is very nerve-wracking. Pretty much the only person that I had kind of fallen into and started watching was Ashley from A Frolic Through Fiction. She really, like, she was the introduction to booktube, and I have her to thank for so much. But I'm just so incredibly awkward, and I just want to give her a little hug because I can tell how nervous she is, but I can also tell how happy she is to be doing this. Like, there is pure joy on my face, but I also cannot for the life of me make eye contact with you. I'm so sorry. And also my voice is just pitched so high that is not, well, maybe that's how I sounded at the time because I thought that like I couldn't talk in my lower voice. She's just so excited to start her second year, and that's great. And 8:30, seeing that makes me upset for a couple of reasons. Number one, because like I'm so excited to be going to school. I have no idea that the following year the concussion is gonna take all of that away from me. And also just like seeing how bright and bushy-tailed I am at 8:30 in the morning. Like, the concussion has just resulted in so much chronic fatigue over the years now that I just, wow, that would be like a feat for me now. So okay, anyway, let's see what is in the actual book haul. The first book that I actually got this for Christmas. I asked for this and my parents miraculously found it. It is the Egyptian Book of the Dead, which is absolutely an absolute unit, if you would, of a book. She's thick. She's a thick one. First book here, the Egyptian Book of the Dead, which I did ask my parents for Christmas. Could you be more precocious? Do you think I read that? Absolute unit, as she says. No, I should say that I asked for it at this point because during my second year I was taking like an Egyptology course. I was taking Egyptian art and architecture, I believe, and I was just getting so into ancient Egyptian history, and I was so consumed by it. At this point I was doing a double major in English Lit and classical studies, and I was going through a phase that I never went through as a kid. I was obsessed with ancient Egyptian everything, and so for some reason, I guess just to feel like I was really studying it, I asked for the Egyptian Book of the Dead, which I haven't read, but which I still have, and which I really want to rekindle that, because going through the brain injury, I had to drop that whole second major, which I'm still obviously like just gutted about, because obviously I was enamored with it. Emma from the past, 1 point. Emma from the present, 0. I have not read that book, but I apparently thought with my whole hopeful little heart and soul that I really was. I'm taking a course this semester. I actually have it tomorrow about Egyptian art and architecture and just everything, and I'm so excited. I actually have just recently switched into a double major for English literature and classics. So I'm very excited, also very scared. It's kind of daunting. I'm in my second year of university, so I just keep changing things. I feel like this is a common experience with everyone, but I'm excited. I'm really excited about it. Oh, that actually hurts. I was not expecting this. I was not expecting this. I thought this was gonna be a cringy old time, but oh, little Emma, you don't know. It's actually really emotional. Like, I actually just want to go back into the past and like find her and give her a great big old hug. Because she's gonna lose all of that, and she's gonna think it's her fault. This semester was the one where I had so many classical studies courses, and I was so excited, and thankfully for this year, my second year, I did get to complete them all, which is something I guess is positive and I'm happy about, but oh, it's very bittersweet. This kind of stuff, just like, I feel like that girl from The Mummy, and like she was my absolute role model when I was a child. And The Mummy is just like, I would watch that movie over and over again if I could. So the next book I got, I actually found this at a library giveaway. A what?
I'll just say now, like, most of these books are either like thrifted or found secondhand.
Classic.
I'm not the biggest fan of buying books like brand new.
Yeah, because you're broke. Girl, you're so broke. Obviously, you're not a fan of buying books brand new. Okay, number one, The Mommy is one of my favorite films of all time. Like, it has been solidified as that now, absolutely. But yeah, I mean, still a lot of my books I mostly do get thrifted because books here are incredibly expensive.
Not only because they're expensive and I am a student.
A student? Oh, stop. I feel like as girls we do this so much. We like think we have to like really pitch our voices high and especially raise them at the end of a sentence. Like, books are really expensive and I'm a student. That was like bad.
I just like recycling. Like, Thrift Books is an amazing website. They have so many books and it's so cheap. So that's where a lot of these books are from, actually. Anyway, this one was not.
Thrift Books.
This one was, as you can see, discarded. And like, this breaks my heart. I'm like, me too. I feel like this is one of those books that as a kid in your like elementary school library, everyone grabs this when they're going through like their Egyptian phase, which I guess mine was not really a phase. So this is definitely a lighter read. It's kind of like, it's not meant for children, but I just thought
I'm pretty sure
I'd read it anyway.
Yes, I did read The Ancient Egyptians. Pretty sure I read that like a couple months after buying it or after hauling it. Me 1, Emma 1. This is great. This is like a little introduction, which I guess is meant for kids, but honestly, top work. Okay, let's see what's next.
This book was for a class that I had last semester about Roman emperors, and it is Lives of the Caesars by Suetonius, and I freaking love this book. Like, I don't know what it is about ancient historians and their writing, or just like how blunt they are with their words about events that are so hilarious to me. Like, it just really, this stuff is so funny to me. Like, I think this goes from Augustus to Domitian, the Roman emperors, and it was just so great. It was such a great class, so I really loved this book.
Read that one. So good. If you are wanting to get into Roman history or anything like that, please pick up Lives of the Caesars. There's Lives of the Caesars by Suetonius, and then there's Lives of the Later Caesars. No one knows who wrote that. We don't know who wrote that, but they are both equally hilarious. Like, that was one of the main draws why I wanted to study classical history anyway, because to me it's hilarious. It is so funny, particularly pretty much just the Roman side of things, honestly. And I did enjoy studying ancient Greece more because there's just something in there. If you are wanting to get into any kind of study or just even for fun, if you just want to have a good laugh, like, really, Suetonius, like, he is just a gossip monger. It is hilarious, especially because these accounts chronicle a lot of the Roman emperors who went a little bit off of their rockers, and it's just so funny. It is blatantly ridiculous, things that he writes about, like the private lives of the emperors, the sex lives of the emperors, the ridiculous things that they did. For example, Caligula like would put out a new tax law, but then he would put the notices that the new tax law had come out on very, very high buildings, like above eye level where no one could read them, and then he would accuse people of tax evasion because they weren't paying the taxes that they didn't know they had to pay because they couldn't read the tax signs because they were anyway. Again, that is a huge draw for me towards the classics, is that I just think it's so funny. And if I could tell this little bean that I went to Rome and I went to Italy and I saw so much of what she got to study for a little bit, she would be like, she would explode. Another aspect of starting YouTube that I was super nervous about was keeping it a secret from my friends, especially my family, and just not wanting to tell anyone. I didn't actually tell my family until I had to go and stay with them during the first quarantine of the pandemic, and I was really nervous about telling them. I remember like shaking in my boots because I just didn't know if they would think it was cool or stupid or whatever. They were just so supportive. I don't even know what I was really afraid of, so telling them was so nice, and they have been just so supportive over the years. And of course, many of them, including my brother and my mom, have helped behind the scenes, and they've started videos. Because it's Mother's Day coming up, I just really want to show my mom, that I appreciate her back, that I love her so much, that I've just really enjoyed the time that we've spent together. We'll actually be going on our first mother-daughter trip together this month, but as well I did get her a couple of pieces from this company that I love and I've worked with previously. I feel like my mom used to have really nice watches that she would wear every day, but for whatever reason they have fallen into disrepair. They've disappeared. So this Mother's Day, I'll be giving her a couple of pieces from Holzkern, who is very kindly sponsoring today's video. Holzkern means wood core in German, which is very cool because they specialize in creating extremely unique watches. They started as a small family business founded in Austria making watches. Recently they have expanded to different jewelry pieces, sunglasses. They still make beautiful watches. This watch that I wear all the time is from them. This is the Hanwi watch. I love this thing so much. I think it's so simple, so elegant. I wanted to get my mom something a little bit different and also something that she could wear on our trip. We are going to be going on a little road trip out east, so I wanted something that matched that location that she'd be able to take on hikes and stuff. So this is the watch that I chose for her. It's still on its way. I'm incredibly excited about it. The band of the watch is wood. Also to take with us, I selected a pair of sunglasses that I think are really, really cute. Again, they have like a touch of green in them, which is just absolutely beautiful. All of Holzkern's products are partially made from natural materials, which means that the grain on them is absolutely unique. They offer free express shipping from Vienna. The custom fees are on them and the products arrive within 2 to 5 business days. If you guys are looking for something unique to gift for Mother's Day or just something for yourselves, Holzkern is perfect. They truly have something for everyone, so feel free to scan my QR code or use the link in my description and the code Emmy to get a special discount. Oh god, let's get back into seeing where little Emma came from.
Next, Pincher Martin by William Golding. This one was from Thrift Books. This is for also a class I had last semester, Space and Time and Physics and Literature. So William Golding obviously wrote Lord of the Flies,
which I still have not read.
I feel like Pincher Martin is definitely like a lesser known work of his, and honestly I read this the night before the class, so I read it so fast, but
I remember that.
I kind of did not really enjoy it while I was reading it. But then afterwards I found that I enjoyed it more when I was done.
Okay, yeah. This one obviously I did read, and this class was so interesting, so interesting. The Housekeeper and the Professor, which the book club is now reading on Fable, would totally fit into the syllabus for this class because it was so cool. It was all about themes of math and physics in literature, and it was just so cool. But Pincher Martin, here's the thing, like seeing this Emma's reactions to books and the way that she talks about some things and explains some things, like I've grown. I've definitely, how many years ago is this now? Acquired so much more knowledge, and I feel like maybe if I did do a reread of Pincher Martin, I don't know, because I remember it being just like so full of description of the physical land. It's about this man who he is shipwrecked and he is drowning in the sea, and then he eventually wakes up because he's washed upon the shore of this island. It's all about him trying to survive alone on this, I think it's a tropical island that he washes up onto. Here's the thing, it's not really until the last page of the book that any of it becomes wowing. Wasn't a favorite at the time, but I still have not yet read Lord of the Flies, so who knows.
If that makes sense. I feel like that happens a lot with books. But anyway, it's about this guy. We'll call him Martin,
because that's his name.
Basically, but then at the end of the book you find out that...
Oh, don't spoil it. Oh my god. She just spoiled it. That's a no-no. That's something you don't do on booktube. She just spoiled the end of the book, and I'm gonna cut that out for you because Emma, that's like the whole thing of the book. Don't say that.
Spoilers. This next book was also for the Roman Emperor's class. It's Tacitus's Annals of Imperial Rome. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't read this whole thing. I did read a lot of it though. But yeah, I just love this kind of stuff. Like, it's so fascinating to me. It's so great. And this next book,
yeah, I honestly did not read a lot of Tacitus. I'm sorry. It is still here. I should probably give that another go because she was probably just too busy to read it. But I'm gonna count that as unread because in my mind now, what's the tally now? Probably unread. Okay, what's next?
I found at a thrift shop downtown. I haven't read it yet because when do English literature students ever get time to read anything they actually want to?
So true.
I'm just kidding. It's The Queen of the Night by Alexander Chee. And just from the synopsis on the back, I like picked it up because it sounded, well, it's set at the Paris Opera House, and Phantom of the Opera is probably not the '1 favorite book.
Yes, it is.
But it's definitely like
Girl,
super up there.
what else would
And
it
this
be
just sounded like that
at this point in time?
It's about an orphan.
Okay, let me pause that right there. Okay, so I don't know why I was afraid to admit that Phantom of the Opera at that time was my favorite book. I think because it's not a classic that a lot of people take seriously. I don't know if that makes sense, but anyway, at that point I hadn't yet read 100 Years of Solitude, so she has no idea what's coming her way. Oh my god. But okay, what is this? The Queen of the Night by Alexander Chee. So I actually did start listening to the audiobook of this a couple years ago now, and I DNF'd it because it was really dull and I was just not getting into the story at all. But it says, a wild opera of a novel. By all accounts, I should have loved this because it's set at the Paris Opera House. It's about weird stuff going on. It's about an orphan who left the American frontier for Europe, was swept into the glamour and terror of Second Empire France. So she becomes a sensation at the Paris Opera, and she has to perform like an opera that's actually based on a terrible secret in her own life, and she's like, oh my god, who composed this? I just didn't like it. If anyone has read this, should I revisit it? I have unhauled it now, unfortunately, so this one is gone from my life, but yeah, I DNF'd this.
This next book is actually a play by Tom Stoppard called Arcadia, and this was also for the Space and Time literature course, and I was not really expecting to like this. It's set between two times, one in 1809 in kind of Lord Byron's day, and then like present day in the 60s or 70s. And it's kind of about the discovery of entropy and all of that, and it's just, it was so, I honestly loved it. This was like
you don't sound so sure about that, but yes, this was great. Arcadia was phenomenal. I want to read more from Tom Stoppard. I want to read Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead, but Arcadia was a lot about math. I'm doing just about as good a job as past Emma did, but read it, loved it. So good.
Stars for me. It was funny, it was entertaining. I wish it was longer. I wish I had a chance to write about it last semester because I honestly love this so much. This next one was for my English criticism class, so it's Mary Wollstonecraft's A Vindication of the Rights of Women.
Women. I've learned how to pronounce women now instead of woman. I would just say woman for everything, and I never knew how to like pronounce women. Anyway.
And dang, what a heckin' badass. Like, look at this woman. Look at her. I haven't read through all of it. We only had to read a few sections for class, but I will definitely be returning to this.
You definitely did not return to it.
I think just like everyone should read this. Not just, obviously not just even women, just like just everyone. Women. Like not it is so women. Empowering. It is so eye-opening. And like to think of the year, like when she wrote this.
Yeah, it's still on my shelf. Still have not read the whole thing.
We have Sexing the Cherry by Jeanette Winterson. This is also for Space and Time. I tried to write my final essay on this, and then I was trying to do it on 2 books.
Okay.
And this one just got, it kind of got cast aside, honestly. It was a really good book, really bizarre, but I loved it. It's definitely confusing to explain, but...
Okay, well, let me take a crack at it. The thing with having my bookshelves like this is that I cannot access anything, but Sexing the Cherry, set during Cromwell's day, there is a ton of, I guess what you could call magical realism in here, but we follow this woman called the Dog Woman, or is it the Dog Lady? Pretty sure it's the Dog Woman, and she has this son, and she's going around London, so many different themes, and it's also about England at this time period, like discovering fruit, because they've never really seen fruit from abroad, or for example from South America. So I'm actually going to be reading some more Jeanette Winterson this month. I'm going to be reading Lighthouse Keeping, so super excited, but yeah, read it.
Then we have Mr. Samuel Beckett's Endgame and Act Without Words. I did Endgame for my first essay in the Space and Time course, and it went super well. Although the play was honestly kind of frustrating to read, I also did watch the version with Michael Gambon and the guy who plays Professor Lupin.
David Thewlis?
What's his name? Oh my gosh.
Endgame, read, loved. I think at this point I've read Endgame 3 times, and that still remains the only Beckett I've ever read, so probably read some more from him, but this is about 4 people who are trapped, in a house. Maybe nuclear disaster has happened, maybe environmental disasters happened. For whatever reason, they are not leaving the house. They're all stuck together. They're all maimed in some way. We have Ham, who is definitely the tyrant of the house. He kind of orders everyone around. He's in a wheelchair. We have Ham's parents, who are an older couple, and they live in garbage cans. It's just about suffering and the human condition, but really good nevertheless.
Next one I also asked for Christmas, and my parents gifted it to me.
Oh.
It is called The Young Romantics, The Shelleys, Byron, and Other Tangled Lives.
Yeah. No. Oh no. I haven't picked that up ever. What is wrong with you? You got this book in December of 2018. It is now May of 2024, and you've never read it. You've never read it. You've never even opened the cover.
So
Miss?
It's not a novel. It's by Daisy Hay.
So this is
it's basically like a biography of the Romantic poets and their lives and all the scandalous affairs that went down. And it just looks so interesting. It also smells really good, so that's a plus.
Okay, see, this is why it's important to do these videos. Young Romantics by Daisy Hay. I've actually heard no one ever talk about this, but it does follow Shelley, Byron, Mary Shelley, of course, Percy Bysshe Shelley. When the hell am I actually gonna read this? Maybe I should make like a video with the oldest books on my TBR and then like make a reading blog about that, trying to clear them all out, because that is sad. And that book has been neglected wholly.
This one I picked up at a thrift store, and
you got that thrifted?
I am super ashamed to say that I have not read it yet.
What's
It's
the
Dante's
deal?
Inferno. Obviously not going to say a lot about this. People know about this.
People know.
But I think this version is really beautiful because it comes with illustrations.
What's a
and like
steal? I can't believe I found that thrifted. Okay, so yeah, Inferno, at the time of this video, I had not read it, but I have read it since. I read it a few years ago. Again, so funny. I don't know if it was meant to be that funny. It's just hilarious. Like Dante going down into the circles of hell, seeing the different punishments that are being visited upon criminals of different stature, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. I'm assuming reading it in the original Old Italian would be even more of an experience. Dante's Inferno, read.
This one I did order off of Thrift Books. It still has the tag on it. Every so often on Thrift Books, you collect like points with your orders, and then you get a free book. So this is what I chose as my free book. It's Men in the Off Hours by Anne Carson.
Okay, so yes, I have read Men in the Off Hours since hauling it. Really loved it. I have been, not a lifelong affair, but just since I discovered Anne Carson, absolutely in love with her. If you want to start with her, I highly recommend Autobiography of Red, or even her Fragments of Sappho. Really lovely. She just, like, she is touched with a gift. I can't even explain it. So read it, loved it, cannot wait to read more Anne Carson, because I haven't read Anne Carson in years at this point, which is so sad.
This one I also found at a thrift store, and it is The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson.
The Haunting of Hill House.
I do not do well with horror movies, but books are obviously a more manageable sort of media with terror, at least for me. So
true.
Yeah.
Yep. I have read Haunting of Hill House. Loved it. Loved it. Classic. Oh, what are you bringing me? I've just been given a gift. I've brought you a gift. Is this what you want? I love you. Haunting of Hill House. Read it. Loved it. It took me a couple years after I filmed this video to get to it, but really extraordinary, really spooky, really weird. And again, it deals pretty in-depth with architecture, which I love, especially in a spooky context. So yeah, love Haunting of Hill House. So glad I read it. I think we're doing pretty good on this video, honestly. I read a lot of these.
This one I did buy from Chapters because I needed it for school really quickly, so I couldn't wait. It is H.P. Lovecraft's short stories.
You bought the hard
one. I only needed one short story, but I bought like an anthology. So I had to read Dreams in a Witch House, and it was honestly okay.
This was because I refuse to read things online. I hate reading stuff online, and like with an English degree that's like impossible, but wherever possible I would buy physical copies or like print off pages and pages because I hated reading the stuff online. That collection, that hardcover collection of H.P. Lovecraft, I haven't touched since buying it and since reading the one story in there for that class. It's here somewhere and it's not been touched, and honestly I do not know. I'm not excited to get to it. I don't have any motivation to get to it anytime soon. I reckon that this collection is just gonna stay somewhere here buried until I'm like 50, and then I'm like, you know what I'm randomly in the mood for? HP Lovecraft.
This one has like a whole bunch of other stories, and it's really nice looking, so I will definitely be reading more of this. Another one I got from Chapters, because obviously no one can resist the bargain books, was Mark Danielewski's The 50-Year Sword. I have not read this yet. This author,
you're gonna wish you had it,
is the most bizarre person, I feel like. Just looks really interesting. The cover has like puncture marks all over it. I don't know if you can see that.
No.
And then the back just said, "One sword will kill a season, one will kill a country, one I'm making now will even kill an idea."
Okay, in case you couldn't understand what I just said in garbled whatever the heck I'm trying to say, the 50-year sword, first of all, that sounded so cool. One sword I'm making now will kill a country. What else did I say? One will even kill an idea or something. Like, that sounded so enticing. I actually only picked up the 50-year sword last Halloween, so very recently, and it was a huge letdown. It was nonsense. One of my professors at uni, after I'd read House of Leaves and we'd been like gushing about House of Leaves, he was like, yeah, everything else this guy has written pretty much is not great, it's just gimmicky. And that's exactly what the 50-Year Sword was. I was so excited to read it because I had just come off reading House of Leaves. That was a 5-star, still is. I need to reread it. Oh my god, one of the most horrifying books I've ever read. But 50-Year Sword was just nonsense. It started out as a shadow show that was then transcribed into a novel, and it was just so dumb. Like, it was just so dumb, and it really did not need to exist, and I don't think it really offered anything at all, and it was just so gimmicky, but the gimmicks were not giving anything. They were not working, they were not providing anything, and it was just really such a big letdown. But at least I know now. I only spent $8 on it.
And if it's anything like his last book I read, I will drown in this.
Last one.
We have the newest book that has arrived from Thrift Books a couple days ago, and that's the Oresteia trilogy, so Agamemnon, the Libation Bearers, and the Furies. As I said, I did recently just switch into classics, so I'm trying to very quickly get a move on with everything that I've missed and try to catch up on stuff I haven't read yet.
I did read that play, loved it, so good, like so good. I should get back to reading Greek tragedy because, ooh, honestly, I think I read most of the books from this book haul, so that's great. Some of them I've gotten to pretty recently, which is funny, and then stuff like the Young Romantics I haven't touched.
Acquired recently, I will add to my ever-growing collection of books that I haven't read yet.
Little does she know.
I feel like everyone always has that stack of books in the corner.
Oh,
that,
girl.
Like, you're like, I need to read those, but then
It's not a
obviously
stack
you just
anymore.
accumulate more and more.
It's not a stack anymore.
Volumes, and it just gets so out of hand.
Oh, it's out of hand.
Anyway, thank you so much for watching.
It's out of my hands.
I've got to head to class.
Oh, that was nice, actually. That was really nice. Maybe I should unprivate them because, I don't know, it's just a matter of getting over yourself, and I just feel so much like just affection and love towards that person, and I just wish I could give her a hug. So that was my first booktube video, a good old-fashioned book haul. I'm quite happy that I actually read them all. I mean, I should have read them all. That was 2018. There it is. That was my debut on booktube. I was just filming on my phone, which I'm still doing right now. I'm still filming on my phone, so you do not need fancy equipment. You don't need anything. I didn't have a microphone. I didn't have lights. I think you were literally on, what were you standing on? Maybe I did have a tripod. I think that was the one thing I did have. I just made my first videos like talking about books that I was reading for school, so it really was just, it just came easily. Of course, the talking and the awkwardness and the just feeling silly about it all the time, or uploading a video and then being like, oh my god, I've put myself out there, I don't know about that, I'm feeling unsure about that. That feeling is still present, not super often anymore, because this community is amazing. If she could see like all of you guys now, and just incredible, like just incredible. If you are scared of taking that first step, don't be, because it's so worth it. It's so fun, and I am proud of her. I am proud of her. If anything, today has just been a good excuse to exercise some kindness and love towards myself and my past self. So please be gentle on yourself. Please treat yourself right. Please love yourself. Being able to see yourself as like just another person, like you would never say, I don't know why this is becoming a talk on self-love, but you would never say probably the things that you say to yourself to your friends or even to strangers. So yeah, that is my first book haul. Funnily enough, my next video after this one, I think, or at least that I'm gonna film after this, is another book haul. So it'll be fun to do a little compare and contrast. That is where I will leave you. Again, here's the QR code and the code if you want to get a discount on Holzkern, which is in the description box. Thanks to them again. And yeah, until my next video, that is when I will see you. I can't believe she didn't end it with a ciao, so I'm gonna end it with a ciao. Ciao.